This is Damian Irvine, Ebbsfleet Chief Executive, before the Ebbsfleet game with Oldham. It must have been a difficult week for you.
Oh, it's been a horrible week for everyone at the club. And I mean that, everybody. It's been the toughest week for a long time, certainly in my career, for a whole raft of reasons. But the human element of football is often overlooked, Chaz, and it's been a very sad week, to sum it up.
It's also been a busy week because you've said goodbye to Dennis Kutrib after a very successful spell at the club, which this season wasn't quite so successful. But you've brought in a couple of loan players, and you've also got Danny Searle in as, I guess, interim head coach.
Yeah, look, firstly on the playing front, those deals and recruitment were in play for some time. Towards the end of the window, particularly with Championship Prem clubs, you know that's when the options start to become available. We unfortunately lost Mustafa Ongunju back, and because there was a league move for him, that's how it happens. And so the timing there is irrelevant really in terms of when they were coming in. In terms of moving forward, it wasn't an expectation that we wouldn't have Dennis in the technical area this week, in the coaching within the club. So things moved very quickly. Outside of all of the emotion, the heartbreak, and the disappointment for everybody, there's also a job to do, and that's always been the fundamental. It's what we're here to do for the supporters, for the ownership and for the club. And so very soon it became apparent to me that there's a massive void to fill in any club when a manager goes, much less someone like Dennis, who was a friend of everyone and such a leader within the playing group, of course. So that voided, we needed direction very quickly, and planning and preparation for what's a massive game today. That doesn't change. And Danny, whilst I think's taken a very professional approach this week, and I'm glad for it. We needed it. In that, whilst there's no guarantees for Danny, and I'm sure he expressed an interest in the role, I made it very clear to Danny that the role's not his and that a proper process has to be taken in place. I also told him that he can tell me to do one. But I'd like his help this week to prepare the side, to give the players a new voice, which at the end of the day is all it really is about, a management change. And he very professionally got Anwar Uddin in, who's the England C first team coach, as his assistant, was his assistant at Aldershot, to be working with the playing group. And the playing group's responded, their reaction to it's been very good, the feedback's been very good. It's nothing more than 3 sessions, analysis and preparation, fitness, and making a judgment on what he sees is the best setup for today to get the boys the best chance of success today. And fair play to him for that, with no guarantees past today. But that's what a good interim head coach. He was back for personal reasons from Czech Republic after 10 days. So the timing, circumstance made that a big help for us.
In terms of the replacement for Dennis, that process, have you got a timescale on that, or is it possible that Danny could carry the team till the end of the season?
Both. We do have a time scale on it, and things move very quickly. I think and the supporters know of this football club, the process that went into finding Dennis, which was intense and thorough and measured. And that's my comfort zone, and that's what I think is the right way to do it. Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of that time and that process. And there are two things to consider. Number one is staying in the division, and the reason why a change happened, and that is to find a different voice and spark to get what is a very good squad with very good management that unfortunately maybe got a little familiar over time and was unable to get out of this performance rut. And that's football, it happens. But I think the key was we've got to stay up. We've got these 15 games to go. That's the number one priority. And then we've got a long-term vision for the club, which we had when Dennis comes in, and we still have. and who leads that club forward in that regard. So there's a lot to consider and a lot in the mix in the process, Chaz, and we'll see where that goes.
So the recruitment process has begun,
Yep.
and here we are with a massive game, Ebbsfleet at home to Oldham Athletic. You won the fixture up there convincingly by 4-1. They're one of the form teams in the division. They're challenging for promotion. It's in front of the TV cameras. I mean, under normal circumstances, this would be a big, important game. But after the week that's just passed, it must have taken on even more importance, because you want to put your best foot forward in front of the TV cameras after a week that's been difficult to navigate.
I think we always want to put our best foot forward, and the playing group certainly has been in that regard. I think the only reason we sit here as we are today under these circumstances is because we haven't been putting our best foot forward. Our best foot forward. You mentioned Oldham, they're a great club. They had a great result up there. They recruited very strongly in the last week. There's no doubt about that. But as it has been all season, Chaz, in this division, it's about us, our 11 on the pitch, our substitutions, our squad. And that's what this week's been about. That's why, as I said, we sit in this position, because the key to this group of players playing to their best of their abilities today and going forward is the focus. That unlocks our success or otherwise. I think they've demonstrated, we as a club have demonstrated, we can compete with the best in the division. Finding the key to do that is the way. And I stress, that's not a fault of Dennis Katrib or Chris Franks. That's a symptom of success last year, of familiarity, and the fact that it's very, very hard to continue a trajectory of success week in, week out in football. That's the bottom line, and here we sit with there. So today, it's a massive occasion. Everybody, Dennis, the players, myself, all the staff at the club would love today for this football club to be bouncing and for a win or a performance for the supporters in this stands. They've been very supportive. They've been there through a great time last year. I appreciate how that feels then a second season after that success of struggling. But there've been some great times and great results as well. The key is finding them every week, and that's what the focus is on.
Well, good luck this evening. I can't say this afternoon, it's this evening, 5:30 kickoff. Hope things go Ebbsfleet's way against Oldham, and it's the first step in the new era for Ebbsfleet United.
Thanks, Chaz.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.